දවස් 30ක්ම unlimited Netflix බලන්න. unlimited data pack එකක් මුළු පවුලටම unlimited fun එකක් අරගන්න. අදම active කරගන්න.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, have a safe Christmas. Religious leaders and health officials say think of your loved ones and stay home this Christmas.
All the instructions of the health authorities should be followed in this case.
This time we can't do all the things as usual, but we can do many things in the new normal life.
Bad behavior. CWCPS chairman's breaking of quarantine sends government ministers, MPs and local government officials into isolation. Virus slowdown. The EDB says export earnings for November recorded at 20% lower than last year. Watch for the signs. The NBRO issues landslide warning in several provinces as the northeast monsoon establishes over several parts of the island. All this and much more coming up on this Thursday, the 24th of December 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Nava Sunlight Sakura. Then Dikukal Pavatina Sakura Mal Suandin.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I am Shanella Fernando in your top stories for tonight. The dawn of Christmas is just 3 hours away. This time around, however, public seasonal events, gatherings and Christmas celebrations have had to take a backseat due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The public have been urged by authorities to stick to health guidelines and choose family-only celebrations over large gatherings and keep their loved ones safe this Christmas.
Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem on Christmas Day as the Savior of the world and to redeem mankind from sin. His teachings command his disciples to spread the message of love, peace and joy throughout the world.
You will conceive in your womb and give birth to a son, and you will call his name Jesus.
Today, Christmas is being celebrated amidst a global pandemic that has altered lifestyles the world over, and as a result, this year's celebrations lack its normal exuberance and cheer. Health authorities have urged the Christian community to celebrate Christmas in accordance with health and safety guidelines to prevent a possible seasonal surge in coronavirus cases.
The coming Christmas holidays as well as New Year holidays is very crucial for the COVID-19 control because most of the people will be traveling all around the country, and also there may be festivals. It is the usual pattern, but this time we can't do all the things as usual, but we can do many things in the new normal life. So what we expect, especially from the Catholic community and also from all others, to celebrate Christmas and New Year with new normal pattern, that is maintaining the distance and also wearing a face mask properly and maintaining hand hygiene, and should not touch each other, should not greet each other by shaking hands or hugging, and should use an alternative method and should not gather large crowd together. In that manner, everybody will be able to celebrate this Christmas in a new normal way, but as well as in traditionally.
Meanwhile, Chief of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva also advised the public that it would be the safer option to limit travel on Christmas and in the coming week.
සිංහල අලුත් අවුරුද්ද, දමිළ අලුත් අවුරුද්ද, පොසොන් වෙසක් මේ ඔක්කොම කාල සීමාවේදී අපිට වෙනදා ආකාරයට කරන්න හම්බුනේ නැති නත්තල කාලෙත් මේ දීර්ඝ නිවාඩුවක් පැමිණියත් අපි ජනතාවගේ ඉල්ලා සිටින ඔබ ඉන්න ප්‍රදේශවලට පුළුවන් තරම් වෙලා රැඳී සිටින්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. මේක තේරුම් අරගෙන ඔබ ඉන්න ප්‍රදේශවල වාසය කරයි කියලා.
Accordingly, measures have been taken to limit the number of churchgoers tomorrow in compliance as well. The country's main midnight mass will be held at St. Sebastian's Shrine in Kandana tonight, presided over by Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. Last week, the Cardinal too sent out the same message of safety first this Christmas.
This year, we have a situation that is very tragic due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Very clearly, we would like our public to concentrate on a spiritual celebration of the Christmas. We have advised our priests to celebrate Christmas only in the non-lockdown areas, to limit the Christmas festival and its ceremonies to the number of persons that has been indicated by the health officials. And at the moment, the number of persons indicated is 50 per celebration. In order to cater to the large crowds that we have, it is necessary to multiply the ceremonies in such a way that the people can come, but all the same not crowd the church. All the instructions of the health authorities should be followed in this case.
Safeguard hand sanitizer නවතම නිෂ්පාදන පෙළ නිරෝගිමත් දිවියකට ලංකාවේ පළමු වරට හඳුන්වා දෙන මැලිබන් වෙජි ක්‍රැකර්
Crunchy Veggie.
As various districts of the country continue to report coronavirus infections, Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemanta Herath urged all those who have left the Western Province to adhere to the safety and health guidelines in order to prevent the emergence of smaller clusters. He also requested the public to divulge accurate information to health authorities if a family member tests positive and to celebrate the festive season in a responsible manner. In the meantime, the country confirmed 182 COVID-19 infections so far today. Meanwhile, in news just in, the Director General of Health Services confirmed one more COVID-related death a short while ago, pushing the country's death toll to 185.
Sri Lanka has recorded over 170 COVID-19 fatalities since the country's second wave cropped up. Currently, the country's COVID-19 death toll stands at 184 after a 71-year-old cancer patient died of the virus yesterday. In the meantime, 580 new coronavirus infections were confirmed in the island yesterday. The Colombo district accounted for 228 of the cases, with 99 of them from the area of Avisavella. The Gampar district confirmed the second highest number of COVID-19 cases, with 108. Meanwhile, the Kalutara district reported 68 infections, the Kandy district reported 40, and the remaining 19 districts accounted for 135 cases. In addition, one Sri Lankan repatriate also tested positive for the virus.
We have to ensure that the least number of cases or virus is not going to spread into other parts of the country. However, we have seen even up to now, small clusters have been reported in different parts of the island, and we are confident that these clusters could be managed and controlled effectively. However, what is required is to reduce the emergence of such clusters, and the government has initiated this process of checking randomly the people who are going out of the Western Province in different places. Up to now, we have found 23 cases yesterday, and we can tell that we have been able to manage to prevent at least 23 probable clusters. And what is the inference out of this information is that there could be many more people who have not encountered these checkpoints or detected by these checkpoints, and therefore they could be there in the periphery, and therefore all who have left the Western Province in the recent past are requested to adhere to the health guidelines as much as possible. And then if they develop symptoms or if their family members develop symptoms, divulge the information about your presence there, and then make sure that the proper investigations are completed quickly so that other contacts are traced and then properly managed by the health authorities. And I request everybody to celebrate the New Year and also the Christmas during this festive season with responsibility and make sure that we are going to make our nation safe.
In the meantime, media spokesperson for the Department of Prisons, Chandaneka Naika, says that a recorded version of the traditional Christmas Mass will be held in prison.
This time, because of the COVID situation, Christmas Mass won't be held inside the prison because the Catholic priest can't come inside the prison. Because of that, we have instructed to create the recorded or TV recorded or any Christmas Mass you can publish here to the prisoners, as well as no visitors allowed this time to see prisoners because of this situation. We can't allow the visitors to come inside the prison. We have separate program to send some food or necessary sanitary items to prisoners. Now, COVID situation inside the prison, we found 3,550 are affected, but now only 901 inmates has affected. Other all are went out from the hospital. Now they are all negative. So happy to say that we are in a good position in COVID situation as well.
State Minister Dilum Amunugama announced that measures have been taken to revoke the licenses of 40 buses that were found to be operating in violation of quarantine regulations. The minister added that the country's law will be strictly enforced against errant bus operators during the festive season. Speaking to the media in Kandy, the state minister said drivers and assistants will be arrested for transporting standing passengers in their buses. He added that bus owners with 2 or 3 buses in operation will be allowed to discuss and use additional journeys during this time. Public health inspectors in Galle took steps to cremate the remains of a Muslim COVID-19 victim today on the instructions of Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena, despite the Galle Magistrates Court ordering the remains to be placed in refrigerated storage. The cremation order was issued in accordance with circulars issued by the Director General of Health Services after notifying the magistrate.
The Galle Magistrates Court recently ordered that the remains of a Muslim COVID-19 victim in Dadugoda in Galle be stored in a refrigerated container without being cremated, following a request made by the relatives of the victim. Following this, employees of the Karapitiya Judicial Medical Office and doctors of the Judicial Medical Unit of the Medical Faculty of the University of Ruhuna expressed objections to this move in a letter. However, Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena ordered the remains to be cremated in accordance with circulars issued by him after notifying the magistrate. Then the cremation of the deceased was carried out at the Dadalak cemetery in Galle. In the meantime, a total of 7 bodies of COVID-19 deceased Muslims have been placed in storage inside refrigerated containers located at the Judicial Medical Officer's office in Colombo. The remains will stay in storage until a final decision pertaining to the Muslim burials is announced.
More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. In more news, the chairman of the Agarapatana Pradesh Sabha, Kadir Selvam, has had his Ceylon Workers Congress membership suspended after breaking self-quarantine and exposing several ministers, MPs and local government officials to the virus. The PS chairman has attended several meetings in Kandy and Talavakale after a PCR test, and despite being asked to quarantine, which later came back positive, forcing all the political figures concerned into self-quarantine as well.
The Ceylon Workers Congress has temporarily suspended the party membership of Agrapatra Pradesh Sabha chairman Kadir Selvam. The party revealed that the PS chairman's membership has been suspended for violating quarantine regulations pending a disciplinary inquiry. According to reports, PS chairman Kadir Selvam, a resident of Albion Estate in Agrapatana, had been self-quarantined due to the risk of COVID-19 on the estate. However, the PS chairman had disregarded instructions and attended several meetings in Kandy and Talavakale, attended by a number of ministers and local councillors. He had reportedly attended 3 meetings attended by ministers and MPs without informing the CWC General Secretary of his self-quarantine after being PCR tested. Selvam had later tested positive for COVID-19. With that, the General Secretary of the CWC and State Minister Jeevan Tondaman and several others are in self-isolation after having been identified as close contacts of the COVID-19 infected PS chairman. Further, Minister of Wildlife and Forest Conservation CB Ratnayaka and MPs Nimal Piyatissa and Marudupandi Rameshwaran, who had attended the Talavakale Urban Development meeting, have also been placed in self-isolation. Former Minister SP Dissanayaka too is self-isolating after participating in a meeting attended by Minister CB Ratnayaka. In addition, another 10 persons, including the Talavakale Lindula Mayor, chairpersons of the Nuarelia, Kotagala, Ambagamua, Norwood and Muskelia Pradesh Sabhas, and 2 regional media correspondents have also been self-quarantined. Further, State Minister Thondaman had joined a meeting convened in Colombo recently to discuss estate workers' salary issues that Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva had chaired at the Ministry of Labour on Monday.
Former Social Democratic Party presidential candidate Ruhan Pallewatha joined the Samagi Jana Balawege today after meeting with opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Following the meeting, the opposition leader announced that Pallewatha has been appointed as an advisor to the party and will also receive a seat on the party's working committee. Further, the former presidential candidate will advise the Samagi Jana Balawege on foreign policy and foreign trade relations. An attorney at law by profession, Pallewatha holds a degree from the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura and a doctorate from the University of Bolton, UK. Discussions were held at the Foreign Ministry between Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and the ambassadors of the Netherlands, Turkey this week. At the meetings, the Foreign Minister touched on assistance provided to the Sri Lankan government in various sectors from the two countries and the enhancing of economic and bilateral relations as well.
Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena met with the ambassadors of the Netherlands and Turkey this week to discuss ongoing bilateral cooperation. Speaking to the ambassador of the Netherlands, Tanya Gongriep, the Foreign Minister expressed the government's appreciation for the generous assistance provided by the government of the Netherlands for the upgrading of hospitals in the northern province and the Kalutara district, vocational training centres and restoration work at archaeological sites, as well as assistance for the digitization of archival documents. The Foreign Minister also noted the significant growth of exports from Sri Lanka to the Netherlands and expressed the government's keen interest in strengthening economic ties and tourism. The Minister also observed the growth of relations between Sri Lanka and the Netherlands into a multifaceted partnership. In discussion with the Ambassador of Turkey, Demet Sekersioglu, the Foreign Minister expressed the government's appreciation towards the generous COVID-19 related assistance from the Turkish government. The Minister also noted the continued Turkish airline weekly flights to Sri Lanka, strengthening connectivity between the two countries. Foreign Minister Gunawardena also highlighted the potential for further trade and investment and the strengthening of cooperation on the international stage. The Foreign Minister also welcomed the prospect of high-level visits from Turkey and the forthcoming meeting of the Joint Committee for Economic and Technical Cooperation.
The Department of Meteorology says that the prevailing showery conditions are expected to reduce in the next few days. However, the National Building Research Organisation requested residents of the hill country to remain vigilant of pre-landslide signs and evacuate immediately in case of danger.
With the establishment of the northeast monsoon conditions over the island, heavy rains and floods were reported from several provinces, including the western, Sabaragamuwa, north central, central and eastern provinces during the past 48 hours. Following showery conditions in Anuradhapura, steps have been taken to open the sluice gates of the Kalaveva by 8 feet. As a result, the Hiripitiyagama road in Galneva, Anuradhapura was seen flooded, bringing public transportation to a standstill. Further, 8 sluice gates of the Rajangane Reservoir and 2 in the Angamu Reservoir were also seen open due to the heavy rainfall in the water catchment areas. In Polonnaruwa, the areas of Diggala on the Sungavila to Somavati road was seen flooded following the opening of 2 sluice gates in the Parakrama Samudra. With the heavy rains in the hill country, the National Building Research Organisation has urged the public to be vigilant of pre-landslide signs and to take necessary precautionary measures to prevent any catastrophes.
According to the received weather forecast for next few days, NBRO advised to the people who live in hilly areas, nearby hilly areas, along the riverine or landslide flow path, and road users be careful of slope failures, cut slope failures and rock falls within the landslide prone areas. If recognize any pre-landslide signs such as deepened cracks on the ground, slanting of trees, electrical posts, telephone posts and fences, cracks in the floors and walls of the building, and also sudden appearance of springs, emerging muddy water, blockage or disappearance of existing springs. If you recognize any signs from these, please move away from the areas.
Meanwhile, according to the weather forecast issued by the Department of Meteorology, showery conditions currently prevailing over the northern, eastern and north central provinces are expected to temporarily lessen over the next few days. However, the department also revealed that showers may occur in several areas in the northern, eastern, north central and Nuva provinces.
We'll return after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back in your business news. According to EDB and Customs data reports, exports for the month of November 2020 have dropped by 20.97% compared to last year. The drop has been attributed to the impact of the second wave in the country and the global slowdown affecting demand.
Export earnings in November amounted to $748.58 million, 20.97% lower than November 2019 and 11.84% lower than October 2020, the Export Development Board has announced. As per customs statistics, earnings from merchandise exports recorded a negative growth of 20.97% in November 2020 to $747.58 million, compared to $978.8 million recorded in November 2019 due to the adverse impact of the country's second wave and the global slowdown. Reductions recorded in October exports due to the COVID-19 outbreak in Sri Lanka on the manufacturing and export facilities also continued in November 2020. Further, adverse global market conditions for Sri Lanka's key exports were aggravated by the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic experienced by many countries, leading to low demand. Decreases in exports were recorded in the top 10 export markets in November 2020 compared to November 2019. Although exports of the CIS region recorded a marginal increase in November 2020 compared to November 2019, exports to other regions declined. Despite the second wave effect on the export sector, agriculture exports such as coconut-based products and spices, especially cinnamon, were much stronger than expected in November 2020.
Sri Lankan stocks closed higher today with the all-share price index gaining 0.85% to close at 6,685.64 and the S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks gaining 0.97% to close at 2,599.67. Market turnover was 2.7 billion rupees with 133 stocks gaining and 59 falling. As part of Finland's unique traditional Christmas celebration, Santa Claus urged everyone to stay safe and healthy and keep connected with each other before setting off on his round-the-world gift-giving duties. Despite the Christmas season being officially in full swing, the crowds were absent this year to see Santa off due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Delivering a message to his virtual audience, Santa stated that everyone has lived through different and difficult times and that hopefully the Christmas season will bring a little relief for those special times to continue. He added that now is the time to relax and to spend Christmas with your loved ones, but it is also worth remembering friends and relatives or even acquaintances who can be connected in a variety of new and different ways. Every year, thousands of people from around the world make their way to Santa Claus village near Rovaniemi in northern Finland to visit Santa and his busy elves. In today's message of hope, Reverend Heshan De Silva of the Baptist Church in Sri Lanka says Christmas does not only bring joy but dawns upon the world with a ray of hope for a better future, especially during such trying times.
My dear friends, we have stepped into another time of Christmas. But at the same time, I would like to remind you that this Christmas is not same as that we used to celebrate the Christmas in the previous years. Because the situation that what we are living in, there are a lot of people in the world who are crying, who are sick, who are going through a very difficult period. Even in our country, at this moment, because of this situation, a lot of people are facing difficulties. So my dear friends, what is the real meaning of Christmas, a moment like this? Normally we think Christmas is a time that we only think about joy. Yes, it's a time of joy, but it's not only joy. The Christmas is a time of hope and bringing peace to this world. When we revisit the first message of Christmas, it reminds us Jesus born into this world in a situation like this, that those people were living in uncertainty because that whole region was ruling by the Roman government. There were a lot of difficulties. So, they were living in uncertainty. My dear friends, we have hope. We are called to bring peace to this world. There is a time that which we can bring hope and peace. Jesus came to this world to give that hope and peace. So let us invite Jesus to our hearts. Not only to our parties, not only to our gatherings, invite Him to our hearts. He will change our lives, and we will take that message to the society, to our homes. It will change the world. So my dear friends, I wish you a happy Christmas, but at the same time, I invite you to open your hearts to Jesus, and He will bring the hope. You will be a channel of hope and channel of peace. May God bless you.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a safe and peaceful Christmas. Good night.